Oh, good morning, my dear friends from Silchar, Tripura, Manipur, Assam, Jharkhand, where Jharkhand is here. Anyway, so we'll be talking on exposures, particularly our cervical spine from anterior side and posterior side. Make you made familiar to it, and I want to make these things more whatever possible to make these things more comfortable to you and try to understand. You have to engage yourself in reading, as well as also possible to do dissections in the dissection hall if possible. So before going to the subject proper, as usual we have to start with some philosophy today. What is today's philosophy is that Vita Raga Bhaya Kudha Manmaya Mamapasita Bohu Gyana Tapasya Uttamatra Bhagamata. Vita Raga Bhaya Kudha Manmaya Pasita Vita Raga Bhaya Kudha Manmaya Pasita. What is the meaning of all these things, Manasla? Is that if you are coming to me, detaching from the fear and all angers and everything, then you will be purified with the knowledge of fire. The Lord says that Vitaraga Bhayakutta Manmaya Pasita Bohu Gyanta Paisa Puta Matrama Puta Matrama. The meaning is that if you are coming to me and surround me, absorb in the knowledge of fire, sagging down your angers and fear. That is the meaning. So anyway, we will go ahead with the subject to this. First thing we will be talking about the anterior exposures of the spine, and I will go to the posterior also. I will tell you how it is being done. Basic steps, one exposures techniques and one the position technique, and also what are the precautions. One thing is true that while you are in trauma situations, certain things are very important to understand. That patients while he is under anesthesia, many times they are doing a fiber optic sort of your malleable intubation. Why they are doing so is that do not want to do manipulations in cervical spine, and one technique is being applied so as to avoid unnecessary manipulations in the ear. This is also true for you that while the patient is under anesthesia, particularly injury cervical spine, you have to be more careful while positioning of the patient. These things are why I am stressing this thing. Under anesthesia, things are again unstable more, because there is an injury there. We are talking in a case where cervical spine injury is existing, already diagnosed, or taking up the patients for operations. Now patient is under anesthesia, you are doing the positioning and other things there. So in these situations, one has to be more careful while dealing with the positioning of the patient. Certain things are very important. Surgery is a bit prolonged. One thing. Number two is that you have to make the step in such situations that while doing surgery you are not feeling any discomfort. Number one is the positioning of the patients in the supine position. We are talking about the supine position. While you are in supine positions in trauma situations, we sometimes apply a bolster, small bolster in between the two scapulas. Why it is so? That if the neck is a bit flexed like this, extended like this, are you getting my point? If you are making this thing a bit high, then it will necessarily go like this. This will make the thing a bit easier for you from anterior side. So it will, because if it is lying like this, it will be more deeper, and if it is like this, a bit more comfortable one. Number two, many times they are applying a tongue, Rushfield tongue. Yes, a tongue is being applied, the traction is there. This traction is important sometimes for manipulation and distractions. Yes, traction is sometimes necessary for reduction technique or also while doing the final fixation. So that is one. Yes, otherwise you have to strap the soldiers down below. That means applying adhesive straps around the shoulder and pull it towards the bed or OT bed. Are you getting my point? So applying a straps like this and pull it down and fix it in the operation table. Why? Because the shoulder should be pulled down so that while you are taking the intraoperative X-rays, particularly with the help of your C-arm, it should not come in between. So that will help you to see better delineations of the cervical spine from lateral view. Lateral views are very important here. Okay? So this part should be clear. One and number other points are there in the surgeries prolonged. Many times patients are in your in paraplegia or sometimes even neurodeficits. You have to take care for the cushioning effect, so the pressure ulcer does not develop in a prolonged surgery. Necessary care should be taken for all the areas of the body who will be on pressure for a long time. Cushioning. You are getting my point? Cushioning of the heel, cushioning of the buttock, cushioning of the other bony prominence are very important. That is more important for the prone position also, to take care so that unnecessarily prolonged pressure is not exerted, that may result to some pressure ulcer later on. This part is clear. So one is the position under intubations and fixations of this. Usually forehead part is also fixed to the body. Patient is on the suspension like this, round. Head part is stable. Forehead part is also being fixed with the straps. Shoulder part is pulled down. So and this is relatively stable position now. Relatively stable position surgery. Now we have in anterior exposure we have two techniques mostly. One is transoral. Under is your exposures in the anterior side, be it transverse or be it longitudinal. We have two techniques here. One is transoral technique. Transoral is not very much comfortable surgery. You may need to take the help of the ENT surgeon sometime. For special retractor techniques are important. Retractors are important to keep the mouth open and also the deep retractor to work in deep way. This surgery probably we may need the help of the ENT surgeons to do this surgery. And this is basically done in a C1, C2 level. Okay? That part. And but most important, most commonly done surgeries are subaxial surgeries. We are talking more about the subaxial surgery. Now in the subaxial surgery exposure, the exposure technique is known as Smith-Robinson technique. Now certain clinical things are also important. One is the relationship to the cricoid ring, thyroid ring, and hyoid, thyroid and cricoid. Hyoid, thyroid and cricoid. This hyoid is in relation to the C3. Thyroid is 4-5 discs. Yes? And cricoid is here 6, C6. So this is a surface marking to tell you that where is the exposure is. So supposing if your lesion is there at the level of your 4-5, so it is beneath the thyroid. So hyoid, thyroid and cricoid, these are relationship with that of your vertebra. Surface marking helps you to confine that your level is this, that means you can palpate the cricoid and your area of area you can demarcate from clinical side. Then this is the area where you have to concentrate more. That is one. Number two is after all positioning is done, you can take the X-ray from the AP and lateral view. Your C-arm should be always there and the right person should be there so that you can give a very good illumination, a very good exposure, and it is oriented one. It is very important because your level is very important to find out intraoperative. Now what are the exposures? One is your longitudinal exposure, another is called transverse exposure. Now what is a transverse exposure? What is your longitudinal exposure? A transverse exposure is mostly done while you are limiting your surgery to one disc, particularly one. People used to say that you can go for two also, but sometimes it is more stressful. to go for the two levels. Supposing your level is your fixed level, you want to work at the level of your C5 and C6, probably at the area of the thyroid, cricoid. You have to make an incisions like 10% incision there. Yes, are you getting my point? So that is if you are doing only one level. But if you are doing a corpectomy, you are planning to do a corpectomy and do a fixations above and down below, probably this 10% incision is going not to help you much. You have to go for a longitudinal type of incision, and that longitudinal incision is basically just anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Yes. Now, people have a choice of going to the left side, so people have a choice to go for right side also. What is the more difference? Actually, it is said that the recurrent laryngeal nerve has a specific course in the left side than that of the right side. Get my point? The recurrent laryngeal nerve is very important structure for your phonation. Then it is seen that the recurrent laryngeal nerve has a very specific course in left side rather than right side. That is why people used to go for left side, taking care of their nerve. But in run, most of the surgeons are more comfortable to do from right side, right-handed surgeon from right side rather than going for the left side. I personally prefer to go for the right side rather than go left side. It is a bit far away, you have to bend too much. So right and left you can select according to your choice. It is just certain choice to go for the left or right. But things are all same. You have to do all these things same. But only thing is that the selections is done on the basis of this anatomical point of your recurrent laryngeal nerve. Okay? Now let us put the incision. Now we have a point of doing the surgery, a corpectomy of C5 vertebra. In the anterior exposure particulate trauma situations, there are two surgeries mostly done. What are the two surgeries mostly done? One surgery is mostly done in the subaxial. I have not talked about these odontal process fixations from the. We have discussed this thing earlier, that where we have to be more careful and taking trajectory like this from the down vertebra. That is a one technique for odontal process. Transoral basically here, but most of the surgeries are mostly done in downward subaxial area. For anterior exposures, mostly subaxial area, C3 to C7. And this incision, what we are talking, is mostly done surgery up to C2, up to C7. So C2 to C7, whole range of area can be exposed with this Smith and Robinson exposures technique. Now we are putting the incision. Now what is the incision line? As I said, in the longitudinal incisions, if you need to do two-level corpectomy, sometimes big surgery, that means if a corpectomy. But if you are only concentrating to removal of the disc, probably 10% incision is sufficient. So if you are going for a longitudinal incision or a 10% incision, all are same. So we are now putting an incision like this. Okay, what is next structure coming up? It is your platysma muscle. Platysma muscle. Superficial extrajugular vein is there. It is true. Sometimes you may ligate it. Small vessel, don't worry. Little bit of bleeding may be there, nothing to worry. Superficial jugular. Okay. Next thing, you are cutting incising the platysma muscle. Once you cut the platysma muscle, then anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle is clean. You can see the anterior border nicely, and it is very important identical point. Anterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle is seen. Then next to that, I say one layer is there which is investing this sternocleidomastoid with that of your neck. Other structure is your deep fossa of the neck. which is engulfing the depth of your sternocleidomastoid. Now, beneath the sternocleidomastoid, towards your body, if you are putting your finger down, you can feel the carotid artery is pumping. The carotid sheath can be filled if you have put the finger there. Yeah, it can be filled, nothing worry. But your artery and other things are always towards your body. And you have to go this side of your dissection. So that is more important. We are all fearing for the carotid artery. So carotid artery, once you find out, you can feel the carotid artery is pulsating down below the sternocleidomastoid. So this artery is always towards your body. And this artery and the vein and other structure are your carotid sheath. Now your dissection is always towards the medial side of this teeth. So this part of the dissection, most of the surgeons, they used to do a blunt surgery with a only finger, with a palpation, finger. Because you are tearing a very fine fossa, deep fossa. You can split it with your own finger, or you can go for a blunt dissection there. Hardly people used to go for a sharp dissection. Now, what is the structure coming out? Strypes muscles in the medial side, along with the trachea and your esophagus is in the medial side. So your idea is to find a plane in between the trachea, esophagus to that side, and sternocleidomastoid and your carotid sheath to your side. So this is the plane. One can feel it with your own finger, do a dissection there, and you can feel the body of the vertebra. You are now feeling the body of the vertebra. So this dissection most of the time done by the fingers. Only finger. Only finger is enough to do this dissection or a blunt dissections. Okay? So you are pushing the carotid and other structure towards your body, and trachea, esophagus, strypes muscles all are to that side. Now if you are pull the structure that side with this detected this side, then you are actually on the body of the vertebra. That you can feel. Sometimes this feeling is very important. Sometimes you may feeling the lateral margin of the hair. So there may be feeling of a vertebral feeling. No. So you should put your finger like this. Here interesting thing. So sometimes you can miss. So if you are feeling this part or actually this part. So you can feel it like this. So this feeling is important. You can push the finger. There is nothing, no important structures are there. So once you are there, it is the prevertebral fossa is coming now. Prevertebral fossa. Then prevertebral fossa, within this your longus colli muscles are there. Longus colli, one group muscle here, another group of muscle there. So you have a longitudinal muscles in anterior part. Yes. You have the body intervertebral discs. You have the longitudinal muscles in the left side. And on top of this, you have a fossa known as prevertebral fossa. Okay? Now you have to be middle of this dissection. So that is why your feeling is more important. Whether you are in middle or if you are in confusion, you can see in this arm also that your dissection is on the body, not on the side. So if you are in this side, this part transverse your process, transverse process, you will be in trouble because your in the transverse fossa you have this the process, you have this vertebral artery. So you must have a feeling that I am feeling the body. That can be feel. And if you are going over the body of the vertebra, you will find something wavy like. The wavy is important. The depressed part of the wave is the body, and elevated part is your disc. That is very interesting. So elevated part is this wave. So you can feel the wave like this. If you are putting your finger over there, you will find something is elevated, something is depressed. The elevation, depressions are basically depressed part is your body and elevated part is your disc. Okay? Now you are putting this structure together like this, and there are certain detectors are there, self-retaining detector, or you can go for your assistant can also help you to pull. So you have to be very careful here that while you are putting the detector, do not give undue pressure to your esophagus and your trachea. Sometimes fistula and other things may happen if you are having a prolonged pull there. Then you be very careful. And the detector what you are going to do should not be sharp one or pointed one. So you do have a detector there, and many times people used to apply the detector over the down beneath this longus colli muscle, so the detection is there, but it's not giving pressure over the esophagus or trachea. Now you are there. So next point is that you have to confirm that whether I am in the right part or wrong. I mean right level or wrong level. Then right and wrong level can be done with the help of your putting the pin here. So near what people used to do, a lumbar spinal needle or even your cannulas needle can be put inside this. But in Toba situations, it is evident that you can feel the bleeding and the tearing of the anterior longitudinal ligament and fracture of the vertebrae and bleeding may be there. In a trauma situation, it is easy because you will find that the injury is there is a fracture of the body, or there may be bleeding at the area, there is tearing, ecchymosis and the tear. It is easy to find. But non-traumatic situations, of course, I like to tell you that you have to be careful that whether I am in the right level or not. Right and wrong level can be judged with the putting the pin here. But in a situation like this, people have a controversy to say whether in case of removal of disc, which is non-traumatic or injured, not injured, and putting a needle there might be causing another injury, insult to this a healthy disc. That is why there is some controversy. But even then, you have to look at put a pin over there, then take the X-ray from the lateral view particularly and count it from C1 down below, then where you are. That is very important. Always localizations of this area is very important. Repeat and repeat. If you are in confusion, you again count it. Then I am here C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6. You are doing it and you ask your assistant to confirm that you are actually there or not. That is more important because you have to be sure that I am at the right path. Now you have two jobs to do. One, if a disc is going posteriorly there, you can remove it, or you can do a corpectomy. There are two surgeries mostly done in trauma situations. One is removal of the disc, displaced disc, and or you can go for the traumatic part. If you are removing a part of the body of the vertebra, supposing this vertebra has compressed down and a burst fracture is there, burst fracture is causing compressions over the cord. So you have to remove the body, and that is called corpectomy. So this is corpectomy. And if you are removing only this, that is discectomy. So but I would like to tell you one or two things here. While doing these dissections, you have to be very careful that you need to do that you have a unseated process. The unseated process is here. Then while the lateral margin of your dissections is always limited by the unseated process. So many times this surgery, particularly in deeper side, good illumination is a must. And if it is, of course, most of the surgeons they used to go under microscope. Or loop is there. Loop can be ready. The magnification is very important. Then you are in the right area. Because very deep structure, so magnification is important. So magnification many times with the help of loop or by microscope also being done. Yes, loop can be also sufficient enough. But what you are doing so, that your idea is two. One, sometime we may remove this body. This is corpectomy. Sometimes you have to remove the disc here. So while doing the disc, your lateral margin is always demarcated by lateral wall is always demarcated by the unseated process. Do not go lateral to it. If you are violating this, probably you will be going towards the vertebral artery. So you have to remove this part. So discectomy and your corpectomy. Yes, removal this thing, decompression is. Then after decompression, what next? What next is that if the disc is being removed, you can replace the disc. There are various surgeries are there. But most of them trauma situation they are going for fusion. Then you have to remove the disc, make the ends are raw. Sometimes tricortical bone piece is taken and being replaced here, and do fixation of a plate over here. So plate fixation in the screw are mostly their plates are various types of plates are available. H-shaped, most of them both are H-shaped, where locking and unlocking both are available. Then the screws are being fixed over there. Yes, fusion. But in case of corpectomy again, if you are removing this, remove the adjacent discs, make the area raw, refill it two parts. One, sometimes tricortical graft here, or you can go for a case there, case impacted with graft, and place it over there, then do the fixations above and down below. Yes, sir. So this is corpectomy, this is discectomy. After all fusions with the help of plate screw, and the screws are mostly 16 to 18, nothing more than that. 16 to 18. Locking and unlocking both are available, and direction of the screw is always upwards and towards the midline. So this is your anterior. This is your anterior. Let us talk a little bit of posterior also. Let us talk. Now we are going to talk something about the posterior exposure also. In the posterior exposure also, you have to be very careful. Patient is under anesthesia. You have to turn the body posteriorly. So if you are doing so, you have to be a bit careful while turning the patients. Patient is under anesthesia, and you have to be very careful while you are doing the maneuvers for prone positions. While doing the prone position, there is horse to separate process is there, support is there, so as to give the support in forehead, and the other time the intubation tube is all lying posteriorly, right? So you have patient is in prone position, so you have to take very careful point, particularly the scale of the part which is under pressure, like the knee joint, heels, hands, other things, all have to be very careful, give very cushions, so as to avoid any sort of pressure, undue pressures of the bony points particularly. So patient is there, and here if you are doing little bit of your flexion here, probably it will be more easy to go in this side. And the posterior incision is there that one can expose the whole spine in the posterior exposure from C1 level occiput, even from occiput to the sacrum. In the spine, one can do the dissection from the occiput to the sacrum in the posterior side. Posteriorly, one can do so much of your surgery. So in this area, craniocervical junction, as we mentioned, we can go for plate fixation for occiput and the support for the C2 and C3, or even fixation of the C2 and C3 with Wells technique or Galley technique or wiring technique, whatever might be. So this area, be very careful because you have the vertebral artery nearby. In C1 level, you have to be very careful. You cannot go beyond 1.5 centimeter from the midline, because if you are going too far lateral, that will be dangerous. You may encounter with the vertebral artery. And here also you have the roots coming up at the C2, one root, and also venous plexus. Lot of venous plexus are there. So this area is a bit more cautious to do so, but other parts are there. What are the principle of dissection is that the dissection should to be on the midline, and dissection should to be on the avascular neurography. This is important that you are on the midline, and this if you are you are sticking to the midline or white zone, not going to the muscles, the bleeding is very less and avascular. Yes, so in cervical spine also you are doing posterior incision, you are in the midline, you are through the avascular zone, dissecting both sides, right, and go up to the spinous process, do the dissection in the spinous process, mostly subperiosteal. So you remove the periosteum and lamina and up to the lateral border if necessary where you are going to do the fixation. And limitations of this exposure from the spino-lamina junction. One is spino-lamina junction and one is your lateral mass, up to lateral mass. How much you are going, you all entirely dependent on how much you are going, you are all entirely dependent on where you are going to fix. So in this area, in the posterior spinous posterior exposure, most of the surgery is being done for fixation and particularly in case of dislocation. Yes, already you have mentioned that one can do the reduction of the dislocations from the posterior side by exposing from the posterior side and do the maneuver like this. One, or sometimes you even do direct reduction technique there with the help of a leverage technique. Okay? Leverage technique, that is done. And finally, after doing so, you have to stabilize it. The stabilization most of the time in cervical spine, as I said, is lateral mass fixation. Let us talk about little bit of lateral mass again here, that this is a vertebra of the cervical spine. So, as I said, that you have to find out the lateral mass here like this. So, lateral mass is already being defined as the zone part between the two articular surfaces. This is the area. So, this area is lateral mass. And how this fixation is done? Pedicle screw fixations is being tried and being done, but you have to be very careful because you are passing this screw in between two very important vital structures. One is your vertebral artery, another is your cord. So you have to be very cautious, and that is being done by experts. Yes, it is true. But as I said, many times it is convenient and easy to do fixation lateral mass. It is very easy to do, and it is said, though it is not a very strong fixation, but since this load on the cervical spine is less than comparing to this vertebra down below, it is sufficient to hold it. So initially what you have to demarcate, do the dissection of the lateral mass. Then you divide the lateral mass into 4 equal half like this. 4 equal half like this. Right? There are various techniques. One is called Megrel technique, one is Roy-Camilli technique. One is Megrel technique, another is called Roy-Camilli technique. Then how you are going to insert the screw. Some surgeons, they prefer to start this thing in inferior medial quadrant. Some surgeons, they prefer to do starting point is in the upper medial quadrant, and someone is from the central. But most of the surgeons, they prefer to go for the inferior medial quadrant, starting like this, right? Inferior medial quadrant. I am saying again, see, you are dividing the whole lateral mass into 4 halves, equal halves. How you are passing the screw? You are passing the screw is through the lateral mass. And you know the lateral mass is some oblique sort of the 30-degree angle. Oblique. They are not in the same plane. They are like this. Articular surface is like this. So you have a area where you can pass the screw. The techniques are a bit different. I said one is Megrel technique, another is called Roy-Camilli technique. Another modification of the Roy-Camilli technique is the starting point from the inferior medial quadrant. And if you are here, you are coming around 25 to 30 degree towards the medial line. Again, almost 25 degree inferiorly. This is your trajectory. Yes, again I am telling you, see. So if your starting point is here, this is patient is in prone position like this. Patient is prone position like this. You have divided this, demarcated the lateral mass. dissection is being done. Then you have to demarcate this area and also divide into 4 equal half. Now, starting this point from inferior medial quadrant, coming around 25 degree towards the midline, around 25-30 degree down below. This is the trajectory. Patient is in cephalic position like this. So you have to pass the screw like this. So it is going according to the plan of your articular surface of the joint, and you are trajecting like this. This is a safe zone because you are not violating any important structure there. You are far away from the important structures like the vertebral artery lying anteriorly like a, or your cord is here. You are away from this vertical structure all and far away from here. So no roots is coming, no vertebral artery is coming, no spinal cord is coming far away. So your trajectory will be like this, 30 degree, almost 30 degree, and go up like this. So it is a polyaxial screw, you can fix it, then fix it according to pedicle screw sort of thing. Almost same to that of your pedicle screw, though it is called lateral mass screw. So sizes are around say 16 or at the most sometime 18. 14, 16 are the size need. And one can go even bicortical also fixation there. So this is called lateral mass fixation technique. It's one of the very easy technique to do, but you have to demarcate. And it is said in a single level dislocations, this short single stabilizations may be enough to hold it. Single swab technique can be enough to hold it. So this is your lateral mass fixation. Pedicle screw fixation is not commonly done, so we are not going to discuss this thing. Or simple, sometimes people are going for the even wire techniques here, passing a wire from the base of the spinous process and holding here. But in a fracture situations, probably this part is also being fractured, so probably it is not going to help you much. So in a trauma situations, probably these techniques are not very important. But since nowadays lateral mass fixation is coming and this technique is easy, most of the surgeons they prefer to do for lateral mass fixation. Yes. So in nutshell, these are the two approaches from anterior side and from posterior side. Posterior side, of course, this area we have not discussed much. We already told you that what are the things you can go. You can expose from here to up to the sacrum and do the fixation there. Here, Galley technique or Goel technique are there to do the fixations. Most of the surgeons they go for the simple technique, placing this graft in between these two and fusion. And nowadays, of course, it is going there. People go for fixations up to the occiput, C2, C3, and level of fixation support. That is, these are techniques evolving nowadays being done. Simple techniques are also available, but down below, most of the surgeons they used to go for lateral mass fixation nowadays. So, in nutshell, this is your overall picture in cervical fixation from anterior and posterior. And do you have anything to ask?